Hi, it's me again. Um, to be really honest, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today. I thought about sharing my thoughts about the things that I plan to do, but at the same time, my plans keep changing lately. My Ravelry queue keeps changing. I keep adding things, and there's actually good. Actually, I have reasons for that. I'm not sure if they're good. I don't know if you remember or if you've seen previous episodes, but although I don't have a huge stash of yarn, I have some, and it's all in small quantities. And because of that, I am struggling to find projects to make with that stash. But I also don't want to be buying like crazy and just have things sitting around the house. Actually, that's something I decided for this year, which is using the things that I have around the house, do projects with it, not just knitting stuff, but I also have quite a few pieces of fabric, small pieces of fabric, because it's also fabric from when I used to do baby stuff, not just knitting baby stuff, but also some sewing stuff like bibs and pacifier clips and or pacifier holders. I'm not sure the name right now, but that was basically the kind of things that I did. I probably made other kind of stuff too, but mostly baby related. So I just bought small quantities of each fabric, and because of that, it's not like I can make huge pieces, but I really feel like I need to find projects to use the material I have around the house. And actually, recently, I decided to do some wardrobe bags, sachet bags, um, and since that's a tiny thing to make, I decided to make sets of bags, and that way I will have more beautiful wardrobe, and my drawers will be nice as well, because once I open those doors, I'll see matching bags, and I think that's little something that adds joy to the day. And I decided to do that for my wardrobe, and my husband also liked the idea. I also want to do it for the kids' wardrobe. But actually, I made 3 sets of 6 bags, and none of those are for my house, because I actually had some birthdays coming up, and I decided it would be a great thing to offer. I didn't put any perfume on those. I included some lavender oil in the box, and that way the person getting this gift can decide if she wants to use that smell, or if she wants to go for something different. Because in my case, I just decided that I want to use my own perfume. That way I won't be mixing up smells, but to each its own. I think that's the expression. So they should be the ones deciding what they want to do. And also they will still have an option if they don't want to spend their perfume on their wardrobes. So that's an idea that I implemented. But coming back to knitting, I also had planned to spend the yarn that I have in stash on projects for myself, or maybe some gift knits. But what I decided recently, it's a bit different. It's in terms of thinking of gift knits, is not that different, because the things that I'm going to do might end up being gift knits anyway. But instead of putting the pressure of pairing colors, that was being hard, honestly, because I was limited on my options of colors, and because of that, I think that I was mixing weird pairs of colors that might end up working, but also might not. So, and I wasn't being that comfortable doing it. So what I decided to do was I'm going to use the yarn for the purpose I bought it, which is baby knits, although I don't have babies to give it to. But I always have someone getting pregnant or having a new baby. And because of that, I just decided, okay, I can still knit baby knits. I am actually going to put them for sale on Etsy. But my goal isn't even selling them. And I honestly don't even expect to sell them, because I know they will be expensive. I do not intend to put prices that are not fair in terms of the work that was made. The biggest reason why I'm doing this listings is to create some awareness about the amount of time that hand knit take. And I am going to put in all of the descriptions the number of hours that I spent knitting the pieces, and I hope that brings some awareness, even though people don't buy the pieces. And whenever I have to gift something to someone, I will have knitting pieces ready to go that I love and that I did without thinking that much about it and stressing out about it. So I think this is the best way to go. But to be also honest, I'm not sure if I'm not going to come back here with a different idea in mind, because I noticed that I've been changing what I think about knitting a lot lately. Every time I make a plan, I find myself a few days or weeks after questioning that plan and if that's going to work for me. So I am not sure. I'm not going to change again. Another thing that I decided, I have been changing some things around the house for the past 8 months maybe. There's a lot of organization to do and decoration to do around the house. So I'm always looking for ideas on how to decorate my wall specifically. And last week I was painting one of the walls in my bedroom. I forgot the name that you give to that wall, but it's the wall behind the bed, and I already have an idea of what to do to decorate that wall, but I have other walls around the house that need decorating, and for one of those walls, I decided to pair it with something that I always struggle to make, and that is gauge swatches. So I had this crazy idea of framing my gauge swatches in frames of 8 by 8 inches, which is 20 by 20 centimeters. And that way I can make the swatches with around 15 centimeters. So in one hand, I need to be very conscious about the swatches I'm making in terms of sizing, but I will at the same time be more motivated to make those, because what I always end up doing is making a few stitches and rows that I don't block at all, and I just estimate how much it might grow based on, honestly, I don't know what, because a lot of times I don't know the yarn. I have nothing made with that, but I just, well, I know. I just look online how much the specific fibers are supposed to grow, but we all know this is just, there's a lot of error that could come with that. And because of that, I decided that this might be a way for me to be motivated to gauge swatch. And I will have a unique wall at my house with all of those gauge swatches. And I will look at them, and they will have history, and they will be a part of me. So my house will have this personality of the things that we like, in this case, something that I like. But that's something that I am trying to incorporate more, which is not just only decorate the house and have it beautiful, but also having things that speak to me, that are mine in some manner, and of course my husband and my kids as well. But in this case, it's about me. And I honestly think that I'm gonna have a beautiful wall. If not, I will change the plan, but I'm very hopeful about this idea that I had, and maybe this is something that works for you too. So that's why I also decided to share this with you. And also on this episode, I am going to share with you the usual finished objects, work in progresses, and purchases, although I try to not purchase that much. And I also try not to buy without a purpose. So my new purchases already have a destiny, and I will talk about that too. Um, uh, yeah, and oh, I know what I wanted to say. It's that I also realized that I have been showing you the patterns that I made, but not really the finished objects. I am not even sure if I ever mentioned my gauge on those projects, maybe some details that might be useful, and I don't think that I've been mentioning them. I guess I have been assuming that you can see all of that on my Ravelry page, but maybe not all of you go on Ravelry, and maybe it adds more dynamic and interest to the episode if you can see that in here. So I'm going to be adding some shorts on top of the video, and that way you might be able to see and have a better knowledge and sense of what the projects are being, even if it's a finished object or something in progress. I think that way you could have a better sense of how the works are turning out, and I think it's more fair of me to show you that instead of just talking about it. So I know that I've said that I was going to do some clips and put it on top of the video, and maybe that's how I'm going to do it on future videos. But since right now I'm going to do some sort of recap of everything that I didn't show you in the past and show you my stash, uh, I will probably just make this video the entire screen, but I'm not still completely sure about it. I will have to do some editing. Not that I'm that great editing, but when I get to that part, I will decide. But for now, I'm gonna jump right in and to show you the things that I talked about previously. I was telling you all that on a previous day. This is a different day today because I didn't have the time to do everything that day, and I was actually still thinking about what I was going to do. And we end up taking a few days, me, my husband, and the kids, to take some rest. It was supposed to be on Easter, but the weather wasn't that great, so we postponed for a week, I think, and we ended up doing that last week. So here we are. And I thought that since I mentioned that before, I'm going to show you the sachet bags that I talked about, that I made. Some of them I still have around the house because I haven't gave them to the intended people. So it's just this tiny bag, and inside I have two cedar wood hearts that you can put some of the oil that I'm going to put in the same box. I bought this one from Amazon. I had bought a different brand in the past, but that was more, I actually don't know if this is organic or not, but probably not because of the price. But since it's just, oh, actually it is, it says in here. But it's a cheaper brand, and I think it will do the trick. And I don't even know if they are going to use the oil or their own perfume. So I think it's good enough to put this one in the box. And basically, I made 6 of them, as you can see. This is for another person, so different initials. I did this with my pre-cut. I hope this lasts. I think it will. Because I actually had to remove some letters right after I made this, and it wasn't that easy to remove, and I had just stick them to the fabric. So I'm sure this will last, and it won't be something to be in the washer that often, maybe never. So I think it's good. And I will eventually do some for myself and all the closets in my home. And this is one of the projects that I'm going to do with the fabrics that I have. So I think that I'm going to show you the objects that I have been talking in the previous episodes that I finished already. And I think there's some new ones, but to be honest, I don't really know for sure if they are or not, because I don't really remember what I've shown you already. And I don't have that much time, so I won't be looking into my videos so to show you that. So first finished object, I think it was this velvet pullover by Claudia Quintanilla. I'm not... Okay, I will put all the links again in the description. I am happy with the end result. It's a bit itchy to be honest, but I think that's because I used drops mohair, and I see everyone saying that mohair is quite itchy. I actually have that mohair in a different color. It's a work in progress that I have, and I don't think is as itchy as this one. I don't know if this makes any sense because it's the same composition, and I don't see how the dyes would impact on it, but it actually does. So what can I say about this object that I maybe didn't say before? I based my purchases on a project that I've seen on Ravelry using the same yarn, and I bought the same quantity, but between buying the yarn and starting the project, I forgot that the lady said that she did a nest size to get the M, and I ended up casting on the M size, and I ran out of yarn. So I think that although initially I decided to do it a bit cropped in comparison to the original, I think that I should have had a few more centimeters on my body, but it's not cropped. It's just not as big as I would envision it. And when I was doing the sleeves, one of the sleeves, I think it's this one. I need to check it in more detail, but one of the sleeves I had to finish cast off with only mohair, because I think it's this one actually, and I think it's in here. It's just mohair in a small part of the cuff, because I ran out of the merino. I think it's around here, to be honest, but I would have to look at this in more detail. I ran out of yarn, but it's not noticeable, to be honest, and it doesn't bother me, and I think it was a good quick fix for this project. It is a huge difference between before and after blocking. So I think I became a big fan of blocking pieces, which I wasn't before, to be honest. And I think especially with cotton, because my cotton piece is the one I notice the biggest difference to be true. And I just remember that this wasn't actually the first object that I finished. That was actually this one. This is a drops pattern. I would have to check my notes to know the exact pattern, but again, I will put it in the description. It looks totally different from the original pattern because I used a yarn that is very different from the recommended one. I didn't swatch for this. Actually, I think the velvet pullover was the first one I swatched for. But I like the fit, to be honest. I like the fit of the sweater t-shirts. I made a t-shirt out of this, but this was a sweater pattern. The construction starts with the collar, and then I think we keep, I honestly don't remember. There's a small sew in here because this is done, I think, one part and then the other in the collar, and then you will, I don't know if you cast on. I honestly, I thought that I remembered this better, but I actually like that I can see an end in here, so I think that I didn't do a great job putting this lines away. I have to look at this, but I like this. This is a merino. It's Rosários for merino for us. I had this yarn for a long time, years actually. This was supposed to be a baby knit. I ended up a jumper. I think I ended up not doing that, and when I restarted knitting, I grabbed this yarn and I chose this pattern because I thought that I could meet, not that I thought that I could meet gauge. I saw the recommended gauge on the yarn and it was the same as the one in the pattern, and I usually get pretty similar gauges as the one recommended by the yarns. But as I said previously, I am trying to swatch more, and I am confirming that I don't struggle to meet the recommended gauge on the yarns and actually the patterns if I respect the yarn recommendations or similar yarns as the ones recommended. There's not much to say about this. This is a simple stockinette stitch with a few rows of cotter stitch on the end of the sleeve and the body to prevent rolling. This was actually rolling a bit here, not on the sleeves, but in here on the body. And after blocking, I don't have that issue anymore. I have worn this before, and actually immediately after blocking it was still rolling a bit, but once I put it on myself, that didn't happen anymore. It's comfortable. I was worried because being merino, I thought that could be still too hot for hotter days in Portugal, like medium days in Portugal, like spring days in Portugal. But I have worn this before and I haven't felt that way. I don't think that I will be able to use this during summer, but let's see. The idea was to do something, restart knitting. It was not about the finished project that much. And it was the first garment I made for myself. And I am proud of it. And I like my stitches. Even before blocking, I think I have pretty even stitches, but you will be the judge of that with my whips that are not blocked yet. So next, I bought some yarn. I bought the yarn for the velvet pullover, and I also bought this cotton merino from Drops, and I did the Sara top. I only saw the comments that this button band tends to open a bit. After I knitted this, I think that the fact that I'm not that experienced in looking for other people's projects on Ravelry led me to not reading any comments before starting the piece. And actually, now that I think about it, I think that I am not doing that as much as I should still, but I like the top. I like the color, although I'm not so sure it's the best color on me. I don't have many pieces, and I don't think that I have anything in this color. To be honest, these were old buttons that I have. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but years ago, I met a person that had a embroidery shop. I still have contact with him occasionally. And when he opened the store, the previous owner, an old lady, had lots of buttons, old buttons in there, and he just moved that to his house because there was no purpose for that at the shop. But once he knew that I used to do some sewing projects, he wondered if this would be something that I would be interested in. And I got lots and lots of buttons, to be honest. And I think this is really a cute button. I'm sorry, I'm struggling to show it to you on camera. Okay, where's my lens? I'm sorry. I want to show you this. But, oh, I'm sorry. Now I just touched the camera. Okay, so you see, I think it's cute buttons, to be honest. I also like the stitches of this pattern. I think it's cute. The thing that I don't like that much is the fact that the button band kind of opens. But I really like to use the buttons on my back. So it's not a huge problem because I can still wear this. There's some thread there that I didn't weave in. But I can still wear this like this, and I like it. And this is a rust color from Drops Cotton Merino, I think. But you will have as much information as I can put on the description. So it was enjoyable. I think it was quite fast, less than, well, maybe 4 days, I think, that I took to knit this, and plus blocking. And I know that I didn't swatch, but that would have taken me like an hour tops, I think. The thing that I need to do better is this sewing. I have not done this in years, and it's better now, but I don't feel like changing this at this point, you see, because it's not perfectly aligned. It's kind of not comfortable. It's not uncomfortable, but it's more rigid. where it's sewn, so I need to do this better, but I will not do it on this top. It will stay as it is because I hate remaking stuff, and I know myself, I don't think that I will touch in this because it doesn't bother me when I wear it. So this is my third finished object for myself. Garment, actually, because I have 2 scarves that I made for myself and one that I have to frog because it's not big enough, and it was something that I casted on right after that blue tee that I just showed you, which is actually denim. I think it's denim, the color of Rosários, Merino for us, and something that I'm proud of, although it's not, I know this is not the amazing construction or anything, but I'm proud of this because I was able to use some of my cotton stash. I used DMC Natura Just Cotton, and I have some balls of this still, but small amounts, as I said before. And for this project, I used less than 2 balls of sable and less than 2 balls of it's something, the name is close to hemoglobin, but it's not hemoglobin. I could put the colors for you. This is a nice red, and it pairs really well with the sable color. And actually, when I wore this, my mom-in-law asked me to do one for her. This doesn't really have a pattern. I actually knew my measures, and I just cast it on as top-down construction. So I knitted this part first, one shoulder and front, and then the other, and the same thing for the back. Then I cast it on the stitches on the front collar and joined the shoulders together. Did the same for the back. Increased stitches for the armholes in front and the back. And then I put everything together in the round. There's some shaping on the sides of the body here. Some shaping, but not that much. I think it's like every 4 stripes I decrease 4 stitches, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. And I can look for the decreases here. You see, it's like, I'm going to show you. Some of them are more visible. I think you can see the stitch here. And yeah, here is where the color work is joined. I tried a technique from Veronica Limburg. She teaches this on a video of a balaclava, I think. I'm not sure if I did this as perfectly as I should, because I still can see this join in here in the round, but it doesn't bother me. This is how it looks on the inside. And then I decided to finish this with an I-cord. I don't feel like this is that perfect, but I don't dislike it, and I'm still proud of myself for using yarn from stash. And as I said in the beginning of the video, this will happen less and less because I am finding difficult to pair colors at this point with the colors that I have. I actually bought more of this red. I have sable still, but I bought more of this red so that I can knit the one for my mother-in-law. And this is the finished garments that I did for myself. And I'm going to show you the scarves that I made from the pattern from Melina Brell. This is one of them. This is a yarn that is allegedly cashmere from Temu. I bought a pack of 6 balls and I gave it away, to be honest. After doing this, I don't know, it's not like I dislike I don't know what this is. It's not like I dislike the yarn, but I need to take care of this in here. I don't think that I did this hem that well on this side cord. I like the pattern, but I don't think, you see, it's already peeling a lot, and I think that I worn this once. I'm not in love with this, and I don't know, I just bought it to try. And I did, my kids played with one of the balls around the house. So I think that I sent the rest to the school for kids projects. I think it's good enough. They don't knit at the school, but they do things with yarn. So I send the rest of the yarn there, I think. But in terms of the pattern, I really liked it. I explained in a previous video that I changed the cadence of the increases. So if you're curious about, you can look it up. After that, I did this one. This is, I think this has a stain in here. Okay, I need to take care of this after. Maybe makeup, because it's kind of brownish beige, so it might be makeup. I made the same pattern again from Melina Brell. I quite like this. I like the color. This is a Merino baby from DMC, and I also have a few balls of this yarn in different colors, and maybe that yarn I will use for some more scarves, but that will be on winter, because right now I don't feel like knitting winter stuff. I like it. There's not much to say. I follow the same pattern as before. I think that I went down the needle size. I think that is a 3.5 and doubled yarn. And this one is a 3mm needle size. I think that's the only difference, because now when I look at the stitches, I see this one's being smaller. And this one wasn't blocked. None of the scarves were blocked. So I think that's noticeable on the work. Since I'm showing all that I have, this is a pattern that I learned from a lady that has passed away already a few years ago. She taught me how to make this baby booties. I love this model, to be honest. There's only a hem, that when you sew the two parts together here at the bottom, at the back. Everything else is picked up stitches. You start by doing the sole, and then you pick up stitches in the round, you knit a few rows, and then you shape the boot in here, and then you can choose the length of the boot. Could be smaller or bigger. I have made probably hundreds of this in the past 15 years, I think. And I casted this on last year while I was still trying to knit again after my break. Another thing that I casted on, and that's also the DMC Baby Merino. That's a 3mm needle, I think. This is also a 3mm needle. It's a baby hat knitted in the round. I don't really know. There's a few different stitches in here, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe to stop rolling. I don't remember. I knitted this last year, but I just don't remember. And as you can see, this wasn't blocked yet because I used double pointed needles, and you can see where they were dividing the stitches. So I need to block this. I think maybe 2 weeks ago, I think this was done in April still. I don't know the name of this beanie, but I will put it. I blocked this, but honestly, my I-cord doesn't look that knit, and I don't know what to do about this. I don't know if you have. I don't dislike to see this roughness, but if you have any tips to give me, I'm willing to take them. This is Natura Just Cotton from DMC. Once more, I ran out of this white color. That's why I did the I-cord with this contrasting one. I think this is the linen shade. I'm not sure. But I like it. I think it's good. I think that after blocking, the lace looks better. I don't know what you think about this. I think this was a 3.5mm. This took me, with blocking and everything, I didn't gauge swatch, to be honest, because I already had made this top with the same needles, 3.5, and the same yarn, so I knew my gauge on stockinette, and because of that, I just jumped into doing this because I think it was the same gauge or something very similar. If it's just one stitch and 2 or 3 rows, I don't worry about it. So I did this, and it took me, I think in total, 7 hours to do everything, blocking and everything. This is one of the knits that I intend to put on Ravelry, and that's why I counted the time it took me, not by the minute, but rounded up or down. I'm not sure if I rounded it up or down. I'm after casted on these shorts. One thing that I messed up was, well, not really messed up because that's actually up to you how many you make, but I wanted to do the popcorns. This is the popcorn shorts with the same abundance as the original pattern, but this is 15 stitches apart. 15 stitches apart, and I'm not putting this pretty well on camera. So 15 stitches apart, but the rows between the one row of popcorns and the other should be 6, but somehow I thought it was 15 also, and that's why I have only 3 rows of popcorns. And to be honest, if I was going to remake this, which I might, I would go with bigger popcorns. It's cute, but I think it could be bigger. But I like the shorts. Another thing that I would be doing differently, this is a beginner pattern, so it's not knitted and round, it's back and forth. And then it has to be sewn here. And you separate stitches, you do one rib leg and then the other, and you do another sewing in here and between legs. And if I was going to knit this again, I would be knitting this in the round to avoid sewing, which I honestly don't like that much. I like to do sewing projects on my sewing machine. Not that I'm that experienced, but I don't like to do it by hand and with my knits. And I think that's because of that I don't have the best hems. I keep saying hems, but I don't think that's the name. The I cord in here is different. It's done with a crochet hook, and it's not the traditional I cord. It's a different one, much faster. And for the purpose of this project, I really enjoyed cutting the time. I am not sure about how many hours, just because I don't remember, but I have that written on my notes. It was a bit longer than the baby bonnet. So I'm sorry for this cut in the video. I guess my phone was too hot to keep filming. And I rearranged the setting this way. I might also be able to put to frame the pieces better into camera. Let's see. So I was talking about this one, and I was saying how long it took me. I think it was around 12 hours, but I can check on that because I'm not totally sure. In again 12 hours with blocking. This is also 3.5 millimeter needles, so I didn't swatch for this because I already knew my gauge, and it already includes blocking, sewing, everything. That was how long it took me to have the finished object with everything. As for the I cord, I realized that I didn't say, but I found it on a YouTube video, and I just replicated that technique, and I will leave it below if you want to check it, because it's really, really fast. And for something that doesn't need has such as something as knit as an I cord, well done. Maybe not my I cords. I think it does a pretty good job, to be honest, and it's slimmer, so it might be a plus as well. So the next object I'm going to show you, I found it, I don't know if it was in a bag or a box, but it was in between my yarns. I had totally forgot about it, and I think it was blocked already, but I blocked it again. This is also Natura Just Cotton. I don't know the color, not by heart at least, because this was already made back then. I didn't registered my project on Ravelry, so I can't say These are wooden buttons. I bought this at a local store, I think. And this is a cord done by hand. It's like you do a loop and then you keep taking loops, one for the left, one for the right, and it's constructed with knots. This is sewn in here. I think it's a nice detail. I think this is a French pattern from a magazine that I have. The original has some lace, but fabric lace like that. I think we called it English lace in Portugal, but some kind of lace to put, not really here, I think it's here, it's put here, but I decided not to put anything. It looks, I think that looking at the armholes, it feels like unfinished, but I do not dislike this. And I think this was knitted with 3mm. I'm not sure. I'm assuming this is a 3mm needle, but now that I look at this together, I think it's the same needle size. So maybe I'm assuming it all wrong. I don't know. The thing is, when I compare this with this, I felt like these stitches from my top are bigger than the ones from the baby knit, but now I'm not so sure anymore. Okay, and I am assuming this is my gauge on 3mm, and maybe I'm wrong. I have to check this again. This next one that I'm going to show you is something that I need to frog. It's the exact same yarn from my other scarf. Sorry, this is supposed to be a scarf. But what happens here is I wanted this much shorter because the idea was for this to have the same width as this. So as you can see, this is almost double, at least 50% more. And it's shorter here and on the other side as well, of course. And this takes a huge difference when you put it on the neck because it gets too short when I try to knot, because what I do is I roll this around my neck like this, and then I do a small knot on the front. I'm sorry for the shaking of the camera, but I do this small knot in here and I wear this like this, you know. Maybe this is not that well centered, but I do it like this on my neck. And I cannot do this knot with this one because this is a lot more, so it has to be more folded, so more fabric around my neck. And when I go around and try to knot it, the space for the neck that I have in here, it's not the same in here, and it's not wearable. So I need to frog this and remake it again, and change something in the pattern. And I'm not sure if I'm going to remake it or not, but I have to frog it because it's unwearable. So, but I really like the stitches. This is a free pattern. I don't know the name of the pattern, and I wouldn't dare to say it because it's one of those Nordic languages, I think, and I can't pronounce that. It was hard for me to find it because it wasn't available anymore on Ravelry, and I don't even remember how I found it, but somewhere online was available. I actually don't know why things disappear from Ravelry, so if you can let me know that, because I'm curious about it. I would much appreciate it. So I think these are all the finished objects that I can show you. I had some brioche baby cardigans that I made, but I don't have them anymore because I gave them away when the babies were weeks old. So I guess you will have to check my Ravelry. Or I might add a picture in here so that you can look at it. And I think that's all. Oh, I also did a baby dress in brown in DMC Woolly. And I don't have that dress anymore too. It kind of took me a while to knit that dress. I felt like the skirt of the dress was not growing enough or fast enough. And right now I really want to share with you my gauge swatches because, to be honest, I'm really proud of them. As I told you before, I am not a fan of swatching, so yeah, I'm gonna show you. I think the first one that I made of all of this is this one. I love this lace, to be honest, but I don't think that I could memorize this, and I don't really know if I would wear this because of the holes. I think that I would have to change that, but that would be changing the beautiful parts of the pattern. I also found incredibly, well, not incredibly, but a bit hard to do these balls here. I love them, but I need to learn how to manage 3 needles on my hands because I fear to drop some stitches while I'm working with a hook for this. And so when I had to repeat it, I just skipped it in here. But I love this lace. I think this red, I think it's I don't know if it's the same red. It's not. I think it's a different red that I still had around. Yeah, it's a different one. It's a lighter one. I like that as well. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the lace, but I think that I would have to wear, well, I can do a sweater with this lace. I would have to adapt. I'm sorry. I found this lace on a Japanese book that I have of stitches, and I think that I could do a summer sweater with this lace, and I would have to adapt some, of course, something. And I could wear this with a top underneath. I think that way I would feel comfortable wearing it. But I think it's a really beautiful pattern. And I'm sorry it took me so long to talk about this swatch. I didn't even measure the swatch. I don't know the gauge on this. I just wanted to knit the stitches and see how I would feel because the picture in the book was really gorgeous. Next, I think that I wanted to have, oh, I actually have a swatch with 3mm needles on Natura Just Cotton and stockinette, so I can actually compare this. You see, the thing is, when I look at it, it looks the same size to me, but I am sure this is 3.5. Okay, it might be a bit bigger. Okay, I think it's a bit bigger. So this is another swatch. It was the leftovers of this yarn. I did this after, just because I want to make a swatch. I don't know. So I used the leftovers, and I wanted this to be not a perfect square, but a bit more squarey. So I decided to add the leftovers of the red in here because I thought it would be nice. And I plan to frame not this lace one. This lace one I will not be framing because it's too wide and not close to a square. So I don't think it will work on the kind of frames I want to make. But this I will not keep the tag. The tag is just so that I don't forget what this is. I'm gonna write all the information on the back of the frame, but not I'm not gonna frame this with a tag. These are actually Christmas tags for gifts, but it was what I had around the house. Next, I decided to do a vest for my son. It will be the garment that I'm gonna make for him for his birthday, which is going to be next week. And now I have a problem, but I'm gonna talk to you about that next. So this is the pattern, you see. I really like it. This is a free pattern, so I was swatching for it, and one day I dropped him. I also decided to try color work, and I don't like how it looks. This is the interior of the, which I also like this look very much. In the beginning, I even preferred this look instead of this one. And I decided to try some color work to see how I felt about it. And the color work I actually prefer on this side because it's too notorious, the mix in here, and I don't like it. It's the pearls. You can always see the mix of the colors on the pearls. And I know there's ways to fix this, I think, but I was just watching, so I wasn't worried about it. And I really want to see how it would look if I respected the pattern. So this is Natura Just Cotton again. And I used the rest of the red from that, and because it was just a small amount, and that's also why I decided to try the two colors. And I intended to buy this yarn for this project, or not really this yarn, but some cotton yarn that has the same characteristics. I did not decide which yarn when I swatched this. But one day, as I was saying, I was at the school and I decided to go to a shop to buy the yarn because I'm always buying the yarn online. And there used to be a lot of yarn shops in Porto, where I live. As I was saying, there used to be a lot of shops in Porto where I live, and in some streets in particular. But one of those streets is close to my kid's school, and I needed to be there for a meeting, and I had some time in between dropping him and the meeting, and I decided to go look for shops. And most of them are closed, and the others don't have great options for me, at least. Everything that I could find was polyester, and I didn't want that. And there was no wool. whatsoever. And I asked for cotton, and there was one of the shop. Oh, and the pattern actually recommended DK weight yarn, I think. So that got me wondering what kind of yarn I was going to buy. And this is not DK, so I asked for a different yarn, which is a cotton yarn, and this lady was able to find me this yarn. This is a Portuguese brand. This is mercerized cotton. To be honest, I think this is heavy, and it has a lot of structure. This was washed, so the swatch, I don't feel that way as much as I feel on the real garments. I like the swatch. I'm kind of met gauge, but I wasn't bothered about it. I am doing the vest for my kid. I bought actually, this is 100 grams skeins, and I bought two because I have no idea of the metrage. There is no information. This is very common on Portuguese yarns. The more recent brands have changed this way of doing things. Rosários for always gives you everything you need to know, and not just Rosários. But this one still goes by the old way of doing things. And I only know the weight of it, not the metrage, and the recommended needles. And this is mercerized cotton. And this brand is known more for the crochet uses of the yarn, and not really the knitting. But I think you can see this is a nice twist. It doesn't open easily, and I really like the work, but yeah, it gets heavy. I bought 200 grams, which is the recommended weight for the size that I wanted, and actually it's like I don't know if it's numbered or lettered sizes, but it's like the first size says 150 grams, the second says 200, and there's like two or three more sizes saying 200. So I'm assuming that you need to buy 200, but you will not use the 200. So I comfortably bought two skeins, so 200 grams, and I don't have enough yarn, and I still need to do the button band, one armhole, and the collar. So I went to the shop, and to be quite honest with you, I never thought the yarn would be sold out. I thought that there's not many people buying there anymore. And this was an old stock of yarn, and I thought, okay, I just go there and buy another skein. This was a really cheap yarn, to be honest. And I actually paid €3 for 100 grams, so very cheap. And it's 100% cotton. And I went there yesterday, actually, and the lady said that she didn't have the collar. She came back to me with other collars, but it doesn't fix my issue. So she was putting an order to her supplier, and she said that I would probably get this week still, which I don't think it will happen because today's Thursday. So thinking about it. So I don't know if I am going to cast on another project for my kid, or if I'm just gonna hope for the best, because I don't think there's much I can do at this point with the shortage of time that I have. But let's wait. It's not that much work. I just don't think that I'm gonna have time to block the piece, and I would like to do that. And actually, I'm going to be traveling again next week because there's Labor Day in Portugal next Friday.
So we are going to take a few days with the kids again. I'm going to be traveling with them on Wednesday. So my week, my work week, and my project week, and the possibility of buying this thing will end on Tuesday. So it's not very promising, to be honest. But it is what it is. And I'm trying, so I think that counts for something. Next, I got my order of yarn that I put 2 weeks ago, I think. And I decided to gauge swatch after running out of the brown yarn for the vest for my son. It's another Nordic pattern. I don't know the name. I really am going to put that on the description, and I'm really sorry. I'm going to be better on sharing this and having my notes around me. But this video is already getting too long, so if I'm going to look for my notes right now, it's going to be even longer. So I'm just going to put that on the description. And I think my perceptions and my experience about it might be more necessary than the names, because that you will be able to find below. And just click on the links. So what have I bought? I bought Katia Cotton-Cashmere for a top for myself. This is a drops pattern. I think it's called the summer top, or not strawberry summer top. I think that's the name. Again, you will be able to find it on the description. And this is my swatch. Everything is already blocked. I really love the people, when people say, I was skeptic about it, about when people say that just 10% of cashmere mixed in there does a lot of softness for the yarn. But when I compare this to this, it's much different. Much different. This is 100% cotton, and this is 90-10. So 90 cotton and 10 cashmere. And I'm in love with the yarn, and I haven't even wore this. I just worked with it. It's amazing. So I think that I'm going to show my whip already, because that way we will be catching up on the yarn, and that's it, and move on and not repeating information, I think. So this is 3mm needles, and this is blocked, but I'm going to show you my work not blocked, and you'll be the judge of my stitches, to be honest. The problem with this that I'm going to tell you, it's not the yarn. The problem is another thing. See, this is a ribbed pattern, mostly. I think it's all ribs. I have a provisional knot in here. That's why this is a bit weird. But besides that, this is where the armpits will be. One of them, and the other one is on the side. I love this. When I saw the pattern, I actually saw a project of a lady that used the same color as this, which is, I would like to tell you, but I don't have it here right now. It's color 60, actually. It's color number 60, which is a brown color, and I like it very much. And she doesn't say which size she needed, and I think that was my problem here, because I'm needing an ML size, so she could have done an S size, and I don't know. But she says she used 3 skeins of this yarn, so I bought exactly 3 skeins of this yarn. And right now the piece has, I think, 13 centimeters, and I need to reach 34, and then the bust needs to be knitted. Right now I have knitted a ball, and this much, I'm sorry, I knitted a ball from here to here, plus the swatch. And then this is the second ball, and I have 13 centimeters in total. So even if, I don't know if I think that I should knit for as long the pattern says, and after blocking it will be longer. Is that it? But basically I think that I will not have enough yarn to do this. And the only reason I can find for this is the fact that I don't know which size the lady did. And I just decided that I would need the same amount of yarn. So I don't know. But last night I was freaking out, and I was just thinking, okay, I'm going to buy more yarn. But to buy more yarn and not have to pay for shipping, I would need to do a larger order, and I will probably only need another skein of this. And what happens is I immediately have to choose other patterns to make. And I just bought yarn for 3 patterns, so to me it's not reasonable to start buying. So what I decided this morning is, okay, I'm gonna knit the yarn that I have for this. If I don't have enough yarn, I will start my next project, and I will see if I have enough yarn for that project, because I don't even know if I'm gonna have the same problem with the other projects. So I'm gonna knit the yarn that I have for the projects that I have, and if I have to hibernate this because I don't have yarn and buy it later, I will do so, because all these projects are tops or vests, which are fast projects, and I will knit this in weeks, and I can buy the yarn later. And meanwhile, if I have to wait for yarn to finish the projects, I can go to the baby knits and use my stash that I have around the house. So that was my recent decision from this morning. So next swatch is a Katia cotton yak that I bought. I bought 6 skeins of this to do a vest. I'm going to put the pattern on the description and maybe a picture on the screen as well. It's a cable pattern. The reason why I went for the vest is because this has wool, and people say that this is a summer yarn, but to me, wool in the summer, I'm skeptic about it. But I thought I could do a vest, which is not that much yarn consuming, I think. I bought 6 skeins for that vest, which is and I have the yardage, so I think it will be fine for the size that I intend to knit. And this is, sorry, 3.5 millimeter needles. I like the work. I'm not sure if this yarn is everything that I see people talk about it. I think that I like more the Cotton-Cashmere one than this cotton yak, but I don't dislike it, that's for sure. And once I wear the vest, I will be able to say more about it, but I didn't cast on this. I just decided to do all my swatches while I was on it and block them all and see if I could keep the plans that I had for the yarn. And I will be keeping all the plans. And well, that's it. I only have the swatch, and I will be sharing on the screen the vest that I intend to knit. It's another, I think it's another Nordic pattern. I don't know. I'm sorry if I am giving you wrong information. I will try to abstain from that. I bought another yarn. This is 100% silk. from Rosários for it's Madragoa, and I like this. This feels very light, and you see, it's. I think people call it drapey, but I have the sense that this will be very comfortable to wear. I think this is color 9. I didn't say which color is this, but right now I honestly don't know. But this is color 9 from Rosários Madragoa, and I quite like it. I bought 4 skeins of this for a summer top, and I really believe it will be enough yarn for this. I knit gauge again. This is knitted on 3 millimeters, and I really like this fabric. It's very light, and I think it will give a great work. I'm not sure about the color for myself. This wasn't my initial color, but the shop didn't have everything in the same dye. I was afraid of differences, so I decided to change for something that they had stock. And from all the available colors, I decided to go with this one. This is Drops Alpaca, and this is for a sweater with a zipper that I was going to knit for my husband. But once he knew which pattern I chose, he just decided, oh no, I don't wear zipper sweaters anymore. Don't do that. So I currently don't know what I'm going to do with this yarn, and I have 14 skeins of this because for his size, I was going to need all of that. And this is 3.5 millimeter needles. I quite like the fabric. I think it's very light as well, and it's alpaca, so it must be warm. And it's actually, I think it's 65% wool and 35% alpaca, or maybe 100% alpaca, I'm not sure. But it drops alpaca, so you can look for it if you want. It's a brown color at this point. I don't know the color number, but maybe once we go through my stash, I can show you. And it won't be in this video because this video is already too long. So I'm very sorry about that. I think that I'm gonna show you my works in progress and the ones that are not in here, and it will be it for this video. So I'm gonna grab those. And right now I have my sweater. This sweater, I'm gonna give you the pattern. I gave you the pattern in the past. This is just mohair, double strand of mohair. This is Drops Kid Silk mohair. Again, I don't know the color, but well, I lost my stoppers. I think that I need to put this together. I think they're really cute. I am doing the body. I don't think there's much length missing. So now I ran out of battery. Sorry. I'm just gonna try to quickly show you the works in progress that I haven't shown you in the past, although I have talked about them. So the first one, and I'm not currently knitting this, is this mohair sweater. This is a free pattern. I don't know the name of the pattern. Right now I'm missing the sleeves that are on hold, and I am knitting the body, although right now I'm not knitting this because I don't feel like knitting with mohair right now. But I have some body length to keep doing, to be honest. And after that will be just the sleeves, and I quite like it. And as I said before, this mohair feels a lot softer than the one from my gray velvet pullover, and I don't know why. And let's see if when I wear this I will feel the same way. But I have tried this on and I have the sense that I will. This is not blocked, so again you can see my stitches not blocked. And I think this will be hibernating until it gets cold enough to feel okay to knit with mohair. I have the vest for my kid that I was telling you about. So I have done one armhole, and it was the first time that I did the Italian bind off, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I don't see myself doing any other bind off anytime soon. So I still need to do the collar, the button bands, and the other armhole. And I don't have yarn for this. This is very heavy, but it's very although it is very elastic because of the stitches. This is a very elastic pattern. It's very structured, and it's it's 200 grams in here, but it feels heavier. I can't explain it better. Lesson learned. I don't think that I'm going to be doing any knits with this yarn anytime soon. Maybe I think that I would be okay with wearing something with this heavy feeling, and I know that for some people heavy stuff is comfortable. Let's see how my 5-year-old will feel about this, my soon to be 5-year-old. I also have this Katia. I don't know if this is a t-shirt or a top, to be honest, but I really like the lace pattern. And this is the geranium color of the Natura Just Cotton. I cast it on this. I am missing, I think, about 10 rows in lace pattern. And I don't have the yarn. And when I made the purchase last time, I bought some of the red for my mother-in-law, and I was hoping to buy this color, but it was out of stock. So now they have it. So I think that once I buy more yarn, if I ended up buying from them, I will be able to buy the yarn that I miss for this. And I'm gonna do the body part of it on another color, which is a drops saffron. It's a cream color. It's color 71. I think this will give me the same gauge. I've seen people knitted with this. It was not my initial decision. I was going with a brown, but my husband thought that would be a terrible pairing of colors. Again, so I bought a cream color that goes really well in here, I think. And this is how I'm going to knit the rest of the Kentia tee or top. For now, it's hibernating until I have the yarn to do it. And I only have one more work in progress, which is at the bottom of a big, I don't know what it's. I put it in there. It's down there from that basket. That's the name. It's on the bottom of the basket. It's a cardigan, and I think that I'm going to show you that next time when I show you the stash, because I'm just going to give you a view of what my stash looks like, because everything is in here. It's in that basket with that one work in progress. Those boxes there, which are small, those are not big boxes. And that thin there doesn't have any yarn. It's just needles and stuff. So this is my yarn stock. So you do understand, I think it's fair to say that I don't have that much when I compare to other knitters. I just hope you feel the same way, because otherwise I might be very wrong about myself. Oh, and that thing rolled in there, it's something that I sewn years ago for my needles. One day I'll show you that, but not today. Thank you so much for being in here with me and for bearing all this long if you made it to this part. I hope you're enjoying seeing my work. I know this is a bit different from what I promised, because you only see me knitting on a project in the beginning of this video, and you will probably be seeing me. I haven't filmed that part, but I think you will be seeing me knit on my strawberry summer, I think, top, but I will correct the information if I'm not saying it right, because it's what I'm currently working on. So I think this is what you're going to be seeing me knit. Once again, thank you so much for being in here, for being so patient. If there's any tips that you want to share with me, I would really appreciate that. See you next time. Also, if you feel like it, share what's on your needles. And yeah, that's everything that I have to say today. Thank you so much for your patience and your company.